This is a special presentation from the Brighton Central School District Board of Education.
Good evening. Welcome to the Brighton Central School District Board of Education public meeting for Tuesday, December 3rd. This meeting is called to order. Our favorite way to begin our public meetings is with the Brighton Believers Awards. So I'll turn it over to Dr. McGowan as we have a few to talk about tonight.
Thank you so much. We sure do. First of all, as a reminder to our community, the Brighton Believes Awards are done to recognize selected nominees by the Brighton Believes Council for demonstrating character traits of integrity, respect, responsibility, kindness, and self-control. And the award winners are students, teachers, staff members, parents, coaches, community members. The nomination form is available on the website at bcsd.org/believers. We'd love to have members of our community nominated for the great work they do to demonstrate all the time our Brighton beliefs. And today is no exception in terms of who we're recognizing. Very excited to continue our recognition of a couple of people nominated by the Coley-Winklebuck family, the Team Athena group, and if I could ask Maria Sanchez and Patrick Brilliant to come on up, please, along with the Winklebuck family, if you'd like to come on up. Okay, got it, no problem. All right, which only means maybe at the next meeting we get to talk about this again, which would be fantastic. So, Patrick is here, Maria could not be here. The Coley-Winklebuck family wrote, "It takes a village to raise a child, and we could not have done our kindergarten year without our CRPS village and their kindness. The family would like to nominate the entire CRPS team for Bright Believers Award. Sending your youngest child to kindergarten is hard. On top of that, our youngest has medical needs and had rarely been without us because of the pandemic. On the first day of school, when we put our teary-eyed kindergartner on the bus, Ms. Maria reassured us our kindergartner would do great. Then when Ms. Maria returned for our Frez kids, she told us how well the kindergartners had done and that she saw them reach an adult to get them into the building. That small act of kindness, which just comes naturally to Ms. Maria, allowed us to release the breath that we didn't even realize we had been holding. But that's Ms. Maria, dependable, thoughtful, and kind. Mr. Patrick adores his students and brings such joy to them. He has a dance party on the bus every Friday afternoon, and before the winter break, he took student requests and then timed them to play for each child before their stop. It was remarkable and shows just how dedicated Mr. Patrick is to his students." Now, which song was your choice? That's what we're curious about. Yeah. None of them. Good answer. Each of these stories demonstrates the Brighton Believes trait of kindness. The kindness this team has shown our family and our child this year is incredible and appreciated. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for all you do for our child and the children in BCSD. We see you, we value you, and the hard work you do each day. We feel like we sent our baby to kindergarten, and she blossomed into a confident leader under your care and love. Mr. Patrick, thank you for that, and congratulations. Dana Griffin. Nominated by Jenny Mull, Courtney Eck, Carrie Welling, and Danielle Hippert. Angela Dana and Stephanie Elkins. So they should all come on over too. Fantastic.
Is there any way we can move the interpreter so that they can be on the screen to show the TV speed just because of the award?
Well, I could pull up the captions, but I think the
Yeah.
interpreter is...
If she could just stand next to you, that, yeah. Okay, good. Can they see her? Okay, good. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Dana Griffin, an American Sign Language interpreter, 12 Corners Middle School. Again, nominated by Jenny Mull, Courtney Eck, Carrie Welling, Danielle Hippert, Angela Dana, and Stephanie Elkins last school year. They wrote, "Dana has been an ASL interpreter for one of our students, Kenzie, for the last 2 years. Dana has gone out of her way to be friendly and welcoming and to facilitate communication between us and Kenzie, who is also joining us. Dana is very approachable and works hard to make everyone feel at ease. She is endlessly dedicated to making sure Kenzie can access the curriculum and is a constant source of support for Kenzie and her teachers. In the fall, Dana started an ASL class for teachers at TCMS. Not only did it help us communicate, but was often literally the best part of our week. The classes were rigorous and relevant. Anytime people had difficulties, she was patient and willing to review. This wasn't just a class for PD credit, this was more than that. We were able to bond in the pursuit of a common goal. Teaching means connecting with students and building relationships. Dana gave us the ability to connect with Kenzie through ASL. When you can personally ask a student, how are you? What did you do this weekend? What questions do you have? In a child's first language, it seems more than just those words. She is helping to build a community of understanding and acceptance for deaf culture at TCMS. Dana told us at the beginning of the class that she was worried because she, quote unquote, wasn't a teacher, but she is, and so much more than that. I hope she is aware of the difference she has made in our lives, but most importantly, in Kenzie's. She did this because she loves and cares for her, and I can't define an amazing teacher any better than Dana. Congratulations. Demond Davis here? Is Demond Davis here? Okay. I believe those are all of our awards for tonight, Mr. Davis.
Okay. Thank you very much. As we said, it's our favorite way to start a meeting. To begin with, or what we'll have next is the opportunity for public participation. If there's anyone here who would like to approach the podium and ask a question or make a comment in regards to the school district, we are happy to hear it. Seeing none, hearing none, we'll move on to the approval of the agenda. There's two stages, right, believer, so it's not.
Yeah.
You all have received the agenda previous to arriving here. Any questions, comments, or changes to the existing agenda? Motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Karen,
Second.
seconded by Sue. All those in favor?
Aye.
You also have the approval, you also have the minutes from the November 19th meeting. And if you had a chance to review those, any changes, edits, or questions with regards to those minutes? Motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Eleanor,
Second.
seconded by Carrie Lynn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Next up, we have, and these are always exciting, the approval for 2 teachers for tenure recommendation. Dr. Lee and I will start here and ask for the approval of these 2 individuals, and then Kevin will do a bio for us. So I'll first, with the information you have, motion to approve the 2 teacher tenure recommendations. We have one for Carolyn Bucci, the second, excuse me, the second for Pavit Coley Winkleblack.
So moved.
Moved by Sue,
Second.
seconded by Karen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Dr. McGowan.
So we are so excited for both of these individuals. I will give you a second to get up the podium before I start to talk about how incredibly wonderful both of them are and help our community know the same. So I'd like to first ask Pavit if she could come up to the podium where she's become very comfortable lately, which also speaks to the incredible human she is, looking to recognize the greatness in others. But now it's your moment, Pavit, so we're so excited for you. Pavit has a bachelor's degree in early childhood and childhood education from SUNY Geneseo and a master's in literacy from Nazareth College, certifications in childhood education, early childhood education, and literacy. Her experience was as a kindergarten teacher in the Rochester City School District before joining us in 2022 at French Road. She's also worked on the Multicultural Club, helping to lead that, and the early morning reading program while at French Road as well. The recommendation from Mrs. Coggins reads as follows. She's pleased to recommend Mrs. Pavit Coley Winklebach for a tenure appointment in the Brighton School District. Pavit is an educator who goes above and beyond daily to ensure the success of her reading students while building deep and meaningful relationships with each of them as well. Pavitt has her bachelor's degree in early childhood and childhood education from SUNY Geneseo and her master's from Nazareth College. She fosters a presence of inclusion, positivity, and connection with her students as well as her colleagues. She works tirelessly to support her students in the classroom as well as out of the classroom. As a reading teacher and case manager for various classrooms, Pavitt provides instruction, supports data collection, and uses her knowledge of reading and best practices to support students and teachers alike. And outside the classroom, as we mentioned, she's a member of the French Road School-Based Equity Team, co-chairs the PTSA Book Fair, and is a founding supervisor of the Multicultural Club. Her ability to reach, connect, support, teach, and advocate both with and for her colleagues, students, and families alike is a passion of hers and has had a positive impact on our school community. She went on to write that recently, when she observed Pavitt, she watched firsthand how she used connection and relationship with her reluctant reader to engage him in the reading process. Using his strengths, letter sounds, Pavitt provided opportunity for the student to excel with what he knew and provided praise as the student verbally participated in the fluency drill. Then she guided the student through blending sounds into words and manipulated letters in words to have the student decode and read new words. Pavitt's ability to balance praise, push the student to the next step in his learning to read, was done in a thoughtful way, while still connecting with the student and tapping into his interests and his waning attention. Watching the student connect with his teacher and see his confidence grow over that 30-minute reading lesson was just one small piece, one testament to the incredible instruction and social-emotional support he receives from Mrs. Coley-Winkleblack. Pavitt completes her probationary period demonstrating differentiation and joy in her teaching while creating a safe learning environment for her thriving readers. Her ability to connect with students, target student needs, and celebrate student successes stands out. She is most deserving of a tenure appointment in the Brighton Central School District and is recommended with great confidence to this appointment. Congratulations, Pavitt. Caroline Bucci, if you could please come up. Caroline has a bachelor's degree in elementary education from Valparaiso University, a master's degree in early childhood education from Salem State University, and professional certification in early childhood education. A variety of teaching experiences. She was an ENL teacher in the Mexico school, dual language, third grade teacher in Illinois school, kindergarten teacher in a Massachusetts school, kindergarten teacher at HFL, second grade teacher, long-term sub at Council Rock before becoming a probationary kindergarten teacher at Council Rock. She also is a Spanish club instructor over 2 sessions as well in our community education program. Mr. Tappan writes, I am pleased to recommend Mrs. Caroline Bucci for her tenure appointment in the Brighton Central School District. Caroline has an incredible energy that translates directly into her classroom. Her zest for life and excitement about learning are key aspects that contribute to making her an incredible teacher. She has the enthusiasm of an entire building packed into her being. The environment that she creates with her students is unparalleled. When you walk into her room, it is always abuzz with the energy of learning. She provides students with the love and support they need in order to build the confidence that allows them to take risks, to learn and grow. She taps into student interest to help guide her instruction and always involves movement in her plans. She also brings her knowledge of Spanish into the classroom, enriching and building skills in her students that will last a lifetime. Her classroom is full of discovery, wonder, and messy, quote-unquote, learning. Kids love being there, and she enjoys every moment with them. She also builds incredible relationships with their families and truly sees them as partners in building success for their children. Around the building, she is known as a wonderful collaborator, bringing new ideas and differing perspectives to each conversation that she participates in. As in ENL classroom, she worked closely with several of her colleagues and her ENL co-teacher to plan for differentiation and strategies that will ensure the success of each of her students. She has served on Math and Science Committee as well as our Building Habits of Mind Committee. She was an early adopter of Habits of Mind and has been a role model for others within the building and how to integrate them into every part of the day for her students. She completes her probationary period, demonstrating an excellence in teaching and leadership. Her enthusiasm, genuine love of learning, and positivity are all a part of this excellence. She is most deserving of this tenure appointment in our school district, and Mr. Tappan and all of us wholeheartedly endorse that recommendation. Congratulations. So I know we have some family members here tonight, and you'll hear me say this again. Hopefully you'll come in June when we celebrate your loved ones. But we do want to just mention, this is, for the kids here, an incredible accomplishment and a recognition that the school district wants to commit to these two fine individuals for the rest of their career and would like them to continue to impact thousands of children over time, and recognizes the impact that they've already made. So hopefully you're super duper proud of your parents, because this means this is all we want, is for them to work with everybody else's kids. And we thank you, because they can't do that without your contributions as their kids, as their families, as their spouses, as their partners in this endeavor. You make them better at what they do, and in doing so, you make life better for kids also. So thanks to all of you. A round of applause for you too.
Yeah, on behalf of the board, thank you for the great work you're going to do with our kids as well. It's so important, and we're grateful for you taking on this challenge and being there for our kids. So thank you very much. Okay, next up, Deanna, we have an update from the Student Support Services Program. Deanna, before you start, I know some people might have to get back and get homework done and things like that, so we'll give them just an opportunity.
Thank you.
Deanna.
I'll start. Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here tonight. I like to begin to just remind and share what is the Office of Student Services. We're often asked that. We may sometimes in our office get some calls from other departments thinking that they might be reaching the right place because it says the Office of Student Services. But our wonderful office covers these areas that are listed here up on the screen: mental health, special education, nursing, 504s. The Committee of Preschool Special Education, I'll share some data about that in a few seconds. Multi-tiered systems of support as well. Not too long ago, I was up here sharing about the blueprint, and the blueprint that our portion of the blueprint that our office supports really is divided into, our goal is listed there, is divided into 3 areas: mental health, wellness, student support, and then professional learning to support all of those areas as well. I have included the blueprint here in my slideshow. I only just a few weeks ago was sharing this out, so I won't take the time to go through all of these points, but I know that I shared them quite recently for mental health and wellness. And then, as I said, student support and the professional learning for both those areas as well. Now, if we look at mental health and wellness, and I spoke a lot about these the last time I was up here as well, some of the areas in terms of thinking about restorative practice, pieces of professional development that our leadership team is involved in. When we look at school avoidance, our whole district mental health team met with Dr. Melissa Heatley on the superintendent conference day to really dig into other assessments and other ways to support families and to support one another on school avoidance. I'm not going to read each of these points to you, but I'm just going to highlight some of those that are really critical and important. They all are critical and important. A new piece to add that I can share from last time I was up here is that we are actively now pursuing the 12 Corners Middle School as a URMC site for our partnership with Golisano. We will be sending over measurements, blueprints, office photos, so that they can be their own standalone site, working with the Office of Mental Health. So we have 2 different agencies that we work with along with Golisano. It's URMC, State Education, and the Office of Mental Health in towards that approval. So we are moving fast and furious to get that up and running. We have a healthy wait list of students, so this will only increase the access of service for our students at that building. So now that they don't have to walk over to the high school as well. There were a lot of pieces that we had to make sure that students had coats on and were ready and had an adult with them. And this will just keep it right closer to home, efficient, and get it service to folks faster. When we look at student support, Again, a lot of pieces that I shared with you last month in terms of professional development. In a few minutes, I'm also going to highlight some of the professional development we are focused in on in terms of meaningful inclusion, and in particular, the support around our 1214 program. Once I talk about the continuum, I'll highlight some of those pieces as well. But here's a sample of some of the pieces that teams across our district, either K-12 or individual teams, are working on in terms of student support. I'm going to share our continuum, the way it stands right now for this school year, and it's important that we pause, and I brought in from State Ed the description of what the least restrictive environment means. You'll hear people talk about LRE, you'll hear us refer to this when we're in the Committee of Special Education, CSE meetings, and we want to make sure that we're educating our student in the least restrictive environment, closest to their home, closest to their community, closest with their peers. And that's important to keep in mind as I describe our continuum, because we're always thinking about this when we're making the right placement decision for each individual student. For the 2024-25 school year, our continuum includes all of these areas that are listed here on the screen. I do have included down at the bottom, you see the Committee of Preschool Special Education. I'm going to be sharing some data there. Those are for our students who are turning 3 or turning 5 before they're kindergarten eligible. And then this school year, this was also listed on one of our highlights as well, our alternative education model, the Aspire program. We now have that program at 12 Corners Middle School, so we're really excited about that. It's not a part of our special education continuum. CSE can't recommend that program, but I thought it was important to reference that we are supporting students who may have IEPs in that program, in addition to providing another unique experience for students who may need to approach coming to school a different way. Here listed here are the multitude of providers that support, not by name, but by title. Some that we contract with BOCES, some we contract with other outside agencies or providers, and the majority of them are our own on-staff providers that we have a part of all of our programs, K through 12 plus throughout the district. And when you hear me say K-12 plus, I'm referring to our students who are in our transition programs, our students who are the 18 to 21 or 22-year-old students. They are also a part of our continuum, and so that's when you hear me say 12 plus, that's what I'm referencing. It's been a few years since I shared some data about our enrollment, so I thought that it was time to do so. So just to take a look at some longitudinal numbers, if you notice our numbers have increased. We have had a higher number of students moving into our district. This school year in particular, French Road and the high school had a large number of our students moving in with IEPs from other districts or out of state, in fact, or out of the country as well that we are supporting. When I was speaking last year, we had students who came in, Council Rock had a higher number of students moving in from those areas as well. So just to take a look at some of these numbers. Our out-of-district placement numbers, you've heard us reference those, is higher this year. We have some students who've moved in who were already in some out-of-district placements, or we've needed to access and consider those programs to support some of the complex and unique needs of our individuals who may need a higher level resource than our continuum currently provides. You'll notice that parentally placed has decreased, and that's because some of our private parochial schools, one in particular, enrollment has decreased significantly, so far we see that number reflected there. Another one of our schools that we support, their junior high was eliminated, so with students who have IEPs at that grade level, we're no longer supporting. Committee of Preschool Special Education, CPSE, you'll notice significantly lower, and I went back and asked the team, is this right, is this accurate? It's probably closer to the number 60 when we think about students who are in process, but this is also actually quite lower than it was last year. I want to keep in mind that this is as of today. The 146, the 131, those were June. At this point in time last year, we were about 85. We have seen a decrease in the number of referrals to the Committee of Preschool Special Education at this point in time this school year. So we'll be watching that very carefully because that'll have some implications as we think about our students coming to kindergarten at Council Rock. Here are students with IEPs by school. And as you already heard me reference, that French Road and the high school saw a larger increase of students moving into the district, I'd say between July and August this school year. When we talk about our outer district programs, To the left of the screen here, those are our out-of-district programs that we have students currently placed at. To the right of the screen, those are the private parochial parentally placed schools that we support.
Can you go, I'm sorry, can you go back to that slide for just a second?
Oh, that's a big ask.
I just don't know that everybody understands the breadth that we have to be responsible for, and that number of different places and all. I just think it's worth mentioning that it's an enormous umbrella. We're working with a lot of different schools as well, so greatly appreciate all that has to be done to work that relationship constantly and sort of be in those places. So it's just pretty fascinating to see here, because this is a very diverse group of places. As a board, we've had a chance to go to BOCES, a couple of these spots, so that's been great, but just really appreciate the breadth here that you're working with.
So when you think about the private parochial schools, we do have our own staff, special education teachers who do support students in those buildings. We also do contract with BOCES as well. The related services, when we look at the private parochials, those are all BOCES contracts, and some special education teachers providing support there as well. Brighton is very, very unique because of the number of private parochial schools that fall within our school district that we support.
Thank you.
So I referenced that I was going to highlight some of the work that we're doing around the 1214 programming, and I thought it appropriate to share you do not have to read this right now, but if you would like to, it's there for your reading pleasure. This is how New York State describes the special class 1214. I am not going to read that to you, but it is there. And it is a unique, beautiful, wonderful classroom environment that we want to make sure is fully supported. We provide a lot of training for our staff. We're looking very differently at some of the training that we're providing for the staff there as well. The last two superintendent's conference days, we have gathered the staff members who support that program together. And I'm really proud of the last two meetings we've come together to create our own vision, our own definition of what is the 1214 program. That is the Brighton Central School District 1214 program. What does that mean to us? If we were to, I asked the group, if a parent was to come to you from out of state, because we do have we'll receive a lot of phone calls of families who want to come to our district because of this program. What do we say? How do we describe it? And this is what the team, K-12 plus, related service providers, psychologists, and teachers, this is the definition, and it's a working definition that we have been adding to. We always come back and anchor ourselves. What do we need to change and evolve? But this is the beautiful definition that group came up with, that personally I like a lot better than the New York State one. And there I said it. I'm on TV saying that too. Here's a sample of the professional learning that we are currently rolling out to support our 1214 programs that include K-12 plus work, also very building specific work, contracting with BOCES, using our autism behavior specialist, how we're going to support our teaching assistants who have the beautiful job, the unique job of supporting our students in those programs, and how do we make sure that they have differentiated professional development so they can do their best work, and how we're going to look at this long range. It is a very different job as a special educator, being the 1214 special education teacher. Any questions?
Just a comment, again, the scope, the breadth is really pretty impressive. So thank you and your entire team for all the work you're doing. It's also heartening to know that you're sort of continuing to evolve rather with what our students need, which is really important.
We have to, for our students. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do I need to pull anything up for anybody else? Please say no.
I think so. Next up, we have an approval of a memorandum of agreement between the Brighton Central School District administrators and the Brighton Central School District. You've had a chance to review that. Are there any questions? Motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Carrie Lynn,
Second?
seconded by Eleanor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Next up, reports. We'll start with the financial reports. Here, you've had a chance to review those. Any questions with regards to those reports? This is our responsibility. We need to approve those. Motion to approve the financial reports as received.
So moved.
Moved by Karen,
Second?
seconded by Esther. All those in favor?
Aye.
Dagny, our student rep.
Okay, so for academics, the second quarter has officially started. Various colleges have come to our school to talk to students to share more information about their schools. And other colleges have also came in for instant decision days where students can go in and instantly know if they're accepted to a college. As for sports, football and girls volleyball both won Section V championships for the first time in school history. They both also went on to advance to states by winning regionals, where volleyball came in 4th place and football competed and lost in the semifinals. Fall sports came to an official end with their end-of-season banquets, and winter sports have officially started. Hockey has their first game tonight. Basketball has their home opener on Friday, December 6th, and Brighton boys swimming and diving has a Jersey Mike's fundraiser tomorrow. Indoor track and field also had their first practice today. For clubs at Brighton Rowing Club is having a Learn How to Row event this Sunday. Econ Club had a great success at the nationwide Econ Bowl Challenge, where they beat over 200 teams across the nation. Brighton Drama hosted an improv games event, and BHS Film Club had its very first meeting this week. For exec, we're hosting a Battle of the Bruins, which is a team-based trivia competition held at BHS on December 18th. The winning teams each get a $15 gift card. Then we're also going to have a winter sports assembly to honor various students and winter athletes in the brand new gym on Thursday, December 19th. Other than that, the Brighton High School's Peak Experience is planning its annual trip, and this year it's going to be a 7-day adventure to the Rocky Mountains of Colorado. Lastly, we're hosting a food fight competition where each grade has its own donation box, and all goods will go to the Brighton food cupboard, and whichever class donates the most will get $200 added to their class funds.
Excellent. Have you traveled anywhere for competition recently?
Just Kentucky.
Okay. Not just Kentucky. You've traveled to Kentucky. Good for you. And how'd you do?
I did okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Congrats. Thank you very much for that update. Board of Education. We'll start with district operations, which both Karen and I attended.
District operations this month featured our local utilities, folks from our local utilities in NYSERDA talking about how they are readying the grid for New York State schools' eventual transition to electric buses. It was informative. I'm impressed with the work that they're doing, and we'll see how that comes together in 2027.
Well stated. Information exchange.
I also attended.
She's got all three.
It's
Karen's got all
the
three.
trifecta.
Going.
Karen's a hero. Okay, cool. So I attended information exchange as well, where our local BOCES superintendents, Dan White and Thomas Putnam, discussed updates to the Board of Regents Blue Ribbon Committee's recommendations for graduation requirements, and we're looking to see those come online beginning with the class who will be freshmen in 2027. Correct? Isn't that where we stand right now? So 2027 is a big year, right? Electric school buses, new graduation requirements. We'll see how that goes.
If both come.
Well, if they both come to fruition, we'll see how that goes. And then do you want me to just move right into legislative committee? All right.
Legislative.
Tomorrow, legislative committee will meet by Zoom. It was open to all Monroe County School Board Association members to register. We will be preparing for our Day of Advocacy, which is Monday, December 9th. And we will be having 2 Zoom sessions with, this is a little different, with legislative aides for our local representatives. And we'll be working with them to understand our position papers so that they can take that back to their offices and help prepare their employers, our representatives, for the legislative breakfast in February. So, interesting work ahead.
We thank you for the triple duty.
Triple duty.
Much appreciated. For BOCES, I'll read a quick update. As always, I'll note that Mark Kokanovich, our former board member and president, is our representative to BOCES, and we're grateful for the work he does on our behalf. Recently had a presentation and discussion on the New York State Blue Ribbon Commission on graduation measures and on New York State regionalization plans. November 20th, the Eastern Monroe Career Center held a half-day open house and career expo for numerous area businesses, employment assistant organizations, colleges, and representatives from the armed services. Representatives met with our career and technical education students to share and explore the wide range of paths available to students to help them plan for their future through connections to the local organizations. And again, we thank Mark for his work on our behalf. Other board member reports, I'll start with Carrie Lynn and work this way.
Okay, I did nothing official for the board this
Okay.
past month. However, I did attend the TCMS production of Frozen, and it was awesome. So huge props and kudos to all the TCMS students and the directors and producers that stepped in to make that show a huge success.
I also have no new board reports for this month.
Okay. Yes, sir.
The only thing I have to report on is regarding Hiring Practices Committee. They are currently working, or we are currently working internally this past fall and this winter to examine conflict resolution strategies related to microaggressions, and the committee will reconvene in the spring of 2025.
Great, thank you.
I attended PTSA in November, the PTSA meeting, and as always, first of all, grateful for the Zoom option because that's good to meet at night when I've got Peggy at home. But second, just appreciate all that you're doing for our students and for families to keep them engaged in our schools.
Excellent. I am on the district-wide safety committee. I was unable to attend in person on November 14th. It was held here at district office. It is led by Mr. Lou Alaimo. The topic this past month began with a presentation by Teresa Mosier and Mr. Alaimo recapping our blueprint. And one of the first things that the team was able to do was participate in a thought exchange. And then the thoughts of the group help us define and shape our blueprint work going into future years as far as a safety plan. We received an update on the implementation of the threat assessment program, and Lou was able to give a presentation of 2 systems under review by the district for safety and security systems. There was also an active roundtable discussion regarding a policy of the locking of classroom doors, a discussion of workplace injuries related to equipment being left out of place, and a discussion of risk to teachers and staff related to student behaviors. It was a very active discussion, and I will say we are extremely fortunate that we have Brighton Police and fire departments who serve on this committee with us and sit right with us and come in person or on Zoom and are active partners in this work. And so I know as a parent and board member, I feel safer knowing that we have such a close relationship with those organizations. And the next meeting is January 30th of 2025.
Be here quicker than you think.
Sure will.
Christina?
The only thing I have is that the New York State School Board Association's DEI committee will meet next week. And we've just been discussing training of new board members and concerns about any student safety. So I'll let you know at the next board meeting how the meeting goes.
Great. I'll quickly note, we had our construction meeting on November 25th. As always, we've got 3 or 4 different phases of projects in progress right now involving the high school, the middle school, and French Road. We'll say this 2 more times, but obviously tomorrow is the vote for the work to potentially be done in Council Rock. So a lot going on in all the schools in that regard. Any others? Then we will turn to Nicole.
Great, awesome. Thanks for the opportunity to report. In Council Rock, Mrs. Kennyworth's class went to Friendship Garden. If you click on the plant, it's a link to the book that they made, and they were exploring the habit of mind of wonderment and awe. You'll kind of see that repeated at different schools, which is pretty cool. In 2nd grade, Mrs. Lyons' class worked on a STEAM activity. We do balloons over Council Rock Parade the day before Thanksgiving break. So in Mrs. Lyons' class, they did paper mache to make their balloon creations. And I think that Dan posted the pictures today. They were great.
And adorable.
Yeah. At Frez, the PE department was having a No Soda November challenge, and students, families, and staff were all invited to give up soda and just drink more water. In Dory Simmons' class, and actually on the next page are the links, They learned about forces, static electricity, and magnets. So Mr. Simmons brought his Van de Graaff generator, and a student named Matilda is giving you a great example of what happens when you touch it. And then he did a balanced, unbalanced experiment where he kind of knocked something out and see what happens. So check out those two videos if you have a second. And then Dr. Fleischman, a parent, came into the classroom to teach about sperm whales, which is connected to the Wit and Wisdom curriculum. So, yeah, lots of fun. In Mrs. DeShealy's class, they listened to a presentation given by Mrs. Lee, who's a parent of a student in the class. She's a cardiologist, and that also connects to the Wit and Wisdom curriculum. She showed a demonstration of an echocardiogram, and they could actually see the heart chambers and valves in real time, and then talked about how part of their learning for this unit is how to have a good heart, literally and figuratively. Also in the French Road art rooms, in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, they're doing different levels of artwork. They're doing abstract self-portraits in 3rd grade. In 4th grade, they are becoming inventors and designing adaptable robots. 5th graders are working on perspective, and they create a journey of their story up to date. So it's kind of cool. They also talked a lot about the habits of mind, managing impulsivity, metacognition, and how that's really beneficial to the students as they're doing their art, but also to them outside of when they're doing their art. So you have some great examples of that. And Janice Mix in health class for 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, they're doing a Words Matter lesson. So she did a lesson, if you squeeze toothpaste out of a toothpaste container or tube, you can't get it back in. Same idea with words. So what they are trying to do was create kindness and show how words can be really powerful. So it's kind of a close-up of that board, and then they turned it into a big bulletin board that's in the hallway. In Mrs. Higgins' 4th grade class, as part of Wit and Wisdom, they're learning about cellular respiration. So there's some photographs of them that they're learning. They look very interested. At TCMS, Dogmamit, who's a 7th grader from Ethiopia, came in and presented at the Mosaic Club and taught about the food, schools, traditions, celebrations, dance. I would love to be in this class. This is Science 7, and they used pumpkins to create some investigations. Did the pumpkin size correlate to the number of seeds? And then they did a pumpkin drop outside of the TCMS building. Pretty amazing. Looks awesome. And then they also, this is also Mrs. Elkins, they had watched a tadpole go under metamorphosis. They named him. His name was Kermit Bartholomew, and then they created a semi-terrestrial habit. But we're really learning about what are the needs of a species and how do we create that for them. At the high school in advanced drawing and painting, they're also learning about abstract and non-objective art. They used alternative materials to paint with, and they also learned how to make their own canvases. Also at the high school in economics, the Shinshinim came and presented about the differences between the differences and similarities between the Israeli and student life. In Spanish for honors, they learned about Dia de los Muertos, and they compared the celebrations and then created a display to go, I believe that's outside the library. In the 12th grade economics class, they had a virtual visit. I think he does this every year, where the professor emeritus, who's the author of their textbook, he joins them in a video chat, and they can ask questions, just talk about college, what it's like. We'll talk about economics. That was great. And then last but not least, the world language interns. There are 4 language interns that are here until June from France, Germany, and then 2 from Spain. Brighton is one of the only districts in the state that offers this unique experience. Just a wonderful way to continue to talk about what a great place Brighton is. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know how I feel about the snow picture yet. Like, the snow picture at the
I
end of
know.
Belize.
Winter
That's
is here.
Winter's here, that's absolutely correct. Thank you, Nicole, as always, pictures were great. Mr. Castillo for PTSA.
Before I begin, I'll thank Karen for attending the last meeting. I try to do the PTSA justice, but really attending, I think you get to see a little bit about the energy and how much they care, so thank you. The Brighton Central PTSA had a busy and productive month across all our schools, and coming off Thanksgiving, we have lots of thanks to share for our amazing volunteers. 12 Corners Middle School held multiple activities, including a school-wide sticker contest on voting day on November 5th. Students selected the final winner from 9 semifinalists. The 7th grade activity night on November 9th had a Wild West theme. Thank you to Jen Allen and Stacy Darby for arranging that. And the 8th grade activity night on November 16th was slumber party themed. And the French Road Elementary School had a busy schedule as well, starting with a book fair from November 4th to 6th and a makeup picture day that was held on November 14th. Thank you to Julie Lane, who led both of these initiatives. On November 22nd, Fun Food Friday featured a Wegmans donated sea salt chickpea snacks. Thank you to Lindsay for coordinating that as well. And the PTSA also provided snacks for a staff meeting on November 25th, offering pies as part of their "No matter how you slice it, we think you're the best" theme. The Council Rock Primary School organized several events, including a kindergarten movie night showing Garfield. It was well attended, and we had 2 new sponsors this year, Wellness 360 and East Ave Dentistry. On voting day, students voted for voted to watch a movie in the cafeteria during lunch organized by Ms. Ayello. And the school held a Fun Food Friday and a 1st grade movie night on November 22nd, featuring the movie Migration. Thank you to our volunteers, Sierra Kirshner, Tatum Morita, Jenna Simpson, Nicole Strait, and Kelsey Dunning. The PTSA Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Committee met with the Black Student Union at 12 Corners Middle School on November 14th to begin planning school-wide events. And the PTSA Fundraising Committee reported significant successes. They've achieved their annual fundraising goals for calendar sales and the school supply fundraiser. Spiritware sales are over halfway to the annual goal, and the fundraising committee successfully hosted a family game night, which was well received. The event featured a popular swap table for games and a simple snack system using donation jars. The committee also organized the movie nights and a Barnes & Noble book fair on December 1st.
Thank you.
I also had the PTSA note today about Giving Tuesday. Fantastic. So if people have a chance to tune into that, it supports the general fund that supports so many things in our schools, and also the student support fund. So thank you for doing that. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
And if there's anybody watching, you can find that information in Parent Square. There's
Yes.
a post about it.
And donate, please.
Donate.
Awesome.
Dr. McGowan.
Thank you. Couple of things. I know Dagny mentioned this, but I just want to again say thank you to our coaches, athletes, parents for all the work they did, representing us so well. Their success is not necessarily measured by postseason appearances, but winning is also fun. And so congratulations to them, because it also shows the hard work that they put in. Our teams that don't go as far as they did in terms of sectionals work awfully hard also. And for a variety of factors that go into any season, some kids go further than others in sectionals. We're just really happy that they've had this opportunity, from girls tennis to one of our cross-country runners, girls volleyball, and of course football, playing in the quarters, 1 game away from going to the Dome, which was awesome. But that's also a segue to tell you about something really exciting. Our football coach, Steve Leon, has been selected by the Buffalo Bills as their nominee for the Don Shula National Coach of the Year award.
awesome.
Comes with great prizes and benefits for the school as well, and it's all about the way he's built a program over time and impacted our students. It's a real thrill for him. It's not often we get to write letters to the selection committee from the NFL
Right.
for things. So I know that's probably Dr. Lee's next award area.
The NFL.
A little jealousy over here. You know?
I was sensing it. I thought I should throw that out there. But Coach Leon, really, over the time he has been a part of the program, he has built something awfully special in a family in the program where he's impacted kids tremendously on the field, but even more so off the field, which is really most important, I know, to him, and very excited for him and their success. So we'll keep you posted on that. And yes, there is, as you mentioned, a vote tomorrow until 7 p.m. 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. You get to come here to this building and continue to contemplate. The impact is significant, right, in helping our facilities get to the place as best we can, continue to get the environment to a place that is equal to the teaching that was explained very well by our BTA representative tonight. The kinds of things happening in classroom, the learning environment should be that also, and we need to continue to finish that job that Counselor Rock, so we appreciate that. The tax impact, should I mention that too?
Please.
$18 on a home valued at $250,000 in our community to really get to that place of upgrading classrooms. 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. here tomorrow night, so hopefully people can come out for that. Thank you.
Yeah, if you have questions, I'll bring it up again. You can go online. You got this in your mail at some point. You got this in your mail at some point, so plenty of information out there, and again, you can consult online as well.
And
Thank you.
even if it's cold, you can park right next to the door, and you don't need to be outside for long to go in and vote.
That is
Nope,
correct.
Plenty of parking right around the back, on
Yep.
the side, right by the door, so.
2035 Monroe Avenue. Thank you. All set?
Yes.
Okay. Next up, we have approval of some second read policies. I'll read all three of them, and then we will approve as a whole. Policy 5130, budget adoption. Policy 5140, administration of the budget. Policy 6213, registration and professional learning. Any questions in regards to these second read policies? Motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Karen,
Second?
seconded by Sue. All those in favor?
Aye.
Next up, we have two bids. As all of you know, we work with BOCES to get the benefit of many school districts the size to get the best possible price. This is an approval first for a cooperative bid evaluation for electricity supply, and then also an approval of cooperative bid evaluation for food services, equipment repair, maintenance, and installation service. Any questions with regards to these bids? Motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Carrie Lynn,
Second?
seconded by Esther. All those in favor? Finally, with the consent agenda, we have the personnel changes, the Committee on Special Education, the Committee on Preschool Special Education, a couple of field trip approvals, French trip to Quebec, Canada, and the New York State Girls Volleyball State Championship, which was already, as we said, congrats to them. A number of fundraising activities involving eating at Chipotle, Jersey Mike's, Panera, Chipotle, and Chipotle on some different dates that are listed here. Come and support our programs. Oh, even more on the other side, more at Chipotle.
More Chipotle.
Yeah, and then also at the Fres Activity Nights on December 14th. So that's girls' youth basketball. So a bunch of things there. And finally, the gifts, as is our practice, we will read each of the gifts. A gift from the Brighton Central School Alumni Association in the amount of $1,700 to finance the cost of 4 students to attend the 2025 Hobie Leadership Conference. That's Hobie is an acronym for Hugh O'Brien. Thank you, Tom Hall, for getting me that information. I'm going to just, because the gift is so nice, I did have the information. I'm going to quickly just 2 sentences here. Since 1958, the Hobie Youth Leadership has provided transformative leadership developmental training to over 500,000 high school students around the world. Our seminars guide students through 3 phases of leadership: personal, group, and service. These seminars educate 8,500 students each year as they embrace a better sense of their leadership abilities, tangible ways to lead diverse groups, and a challenge to serve their communities. It's for 10th graders. Thank you, Tom, for this information during the summer. And Tom said he went back in 1991, so it'll be between 10th graders between their sophomore and junior year. So thankful for the Brighton Central School Alumni Association for that gift. Secondly, a gift from the Brighton Education Fund in the amount of $10,000 for Thomas Kirsting, the author of Disconnected and Raising Healthy Teenagers to come speak to our school community. And then finally, a gift from Brighton Education Fund to Council Rock Primary School, Carol Flanagan, math specialist, in the amount of $1,710 for the purchase of math and movement floor mats. Question in regards to anything on the consent agenda? Motion to approve.
So moved.
Moved by Esther.
Second.
Seconded by Karen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Before we adjourn, just a couple of quick things. Our thanks to our AV team tonight who made this possible. Simon, Violet, standing in valiantly and well for Bill. Thank you very much. And Mike behind the screen there, as he always is. One more time. Opportunity to vote tomorrow. Please come and vote. I would also recommend, and this is a personal recommendation, Jiva's current production of A Christmas Carol. And I will note on our dais tonight is Mrs. Fezziwig / Mrs. Cratchit right here to my left, Esther Winter, wave. There's you. Fabulous job. And I'll finally note the third of our 4 road trips. Next meeting, which is the 17th, we will be at the high school. And have a chance, for those who haven't had a chance to see it, the new gym, which looks spectacular. And we'll take a walk around, but that next meeting will be at the high school on the 17th. Anything else for the good of the order? Dr. McGowan? Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Karen,
Second.
seconded by Eleanor. All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
This has been a special presentation from the Brighton Central School District Board of Education.